5, Mr. Adib, take 1, Mark.
My name is Adib Farah, and I'm Akmal Farah's second oldest brother. I also practice Taekwondo here at Authentic. I have a third degree black belt that I acquired right here at Authentic as well. So we did not come to Canada directly from Afghanistan. We had to go to a different country. We stayed there as a refugee for a while. And then we came to Canada at the early part of 1989. So Bruce Lee inspired a lot of kids with his fast moves, with his physicality and all that. And Akmal was obviously one of those people that was inspired to a large extent by Bruce Lee. When we were refugees in a different country, when we left our homeland, I used to practice there a little bit, and he had seen me in Taekwondo uniform, and then we've been, to some extent, he saw me practicing and he wanted to do that as well. So from a very young age, he wanted to do Taekwondo specifically, and he was very adamant about it. He wanted to do it really, really bad.
So I got into Taekwondo in 1994 because I just loved martial arts. I loved watching Bruce Lee movies and watching a lot of the fight scenes in Bollywood movies. And it just, I loved that hero concept and just enjoyed watching it and wanted to do some of the action moves that they were doing. And I've always wanted to do that. And so when I came to Canada, it was like the perfect opportunity.
I'm DOMINIQUE BOSSHART. I'm two-time Olympian in the year 2000 and 2004 and won a bronze medal in 2000, but I've known Akmal for quite a long time. So after I met Akmal on the national team in 1997, some years later I came to Toronto to train with the team at Yeongcheong, and that's when I really got to know him. You know, training together, and then, God, it's been so long, but so much has happened since then. And but then after we both retired, he opened the Taekwondo school, and then sometime after he started that, I started to teach for him and with him, and so that sort of friendship has now expanded from, you know, just being on a national team together to really training together, and then now we're sort of, I don't know, consider lifelong friends.
Akmal is a very close friend of mine. As a matter of fact, he was one of my best men at my wedding. I met him when I was the tender age of 15, and I was in a tournament, and we were actually at different clubs, but we are actually from the same country. We're both from Afghanistan, and you know, when there's people from the same country, you tend to, especially when you're younger, you tend to kind of find each other somehow. And we both had weird names, and so we connected that way at the beginning. And then now, 25 plus years later, still very, very close friends. What makes Master Farah stand out? You feel his passion when he teaches. He had that same passion when he was training. And that was what made him a natural leader amongst us. Because we were all, at one point at the club we were training at, 8 out of the 16 national team members in Canada came from that club. And so everyone was at the same level, but because he exuded that passion just a little bit more. Not that he trained harder than anyone else, but he was able to articulate it a little bit just more better than other people. And that's how he became just the team leader for Team Canada and for our club, because of that natural passion that he had.
I would definitely have to say winning my first Canadian national championships was the most memorable moment of my Taekwondo career. And to win nationals and to be able to represent your country, it's an incredible memory for me as an immigrant child, because again, you know, there's a lot of racism when I first came in. You know, people didn't really treat me the way I wanted to be treated. I didn't dress properly. I didn't speak the way everybody did. But to have that moment where you're, you know, standing on top of the podium and one day representing your country and being, you know, known as a Canadian athlete was really an honor for me. My relationship with my coach, TINO DOSSANTOS, was like a brotherhood. You know, he really cared deeply about my development, and you know, you don't really meet too many people like that you know, take your wins and losses so personally. Even at a moment where I was just a beginner, like no one cared about who I was, but he saw something in me, and he really treated me like a younger brother, and that meant a lot to me.
Hello, my name is TINO DOSSANTOS, and I am a former national team player, Taekwondo player, and former national coach. And of course, I've had the privilege and honor of being AKMAL Farah's coach for many, many years. Well, I believe what really makes Master Farah an incredible leader is he is a very inspirational individual. He's not one to tell people to follow him. He's the type of leader that invites others on a journey through inspiration and through personal example. And I strongly believe that's what really stands out for Master Farah as a leader. His dedication, his perseverance, his willingness to sacrifice for the greater good of achieving his goals and really being committed to those goals. And I thought, like, anybody that has those qualities, man, you can easily transition into becoming an entrepreneur or a leader in any other field, because those are the types of skills that will allow you and enable others and empower others to be successful in life. And I think that's one of the greatest attributes of leaders.
I've known Dr. Gibbs since my first black belt test, and he was always very encouraging, and I really appreciated that. As an athlete growing up, you're always kind of like looking for outside support, that you're doing the right things, you're on the right track. And I remember him also showing up to a lot of the tournaments, whether it was local or provincials, and be like, hey Akmal, I saw your fight, that was an awesome match. And when you hear like people a little bit older than you appreciate what you're doing, you're like, that feels so good, So I remember him being very encouraging and very supportive, and always kind of like just cheering me on. So it's an interesting time in my life, because I was actually looking to start a school, and he was at a point where he had enough of running a Taekwondo school. And obviously Dr. Gibbs was a full-time dentist, and then in the evenings he would come and teach classes. And the running joke was that he would break people's teeth in the night and then fix them during the day. But he had enough of it, and he said, Akmal, you know what? It's time for me to enjoy my life, and so it's an opportunity for you to basically take over this school.
I remember scheduling a lunch with Master Farah, and we went out for lunch, and I was just going to say to him, hey, I think I'm going to need some help in the school. And he said to me, Dr. Gibbs, before you talk, I want to say something. I'm ready to own a school. Do you know anybody who's ready to actually sell or to be involved? And he took the words out of my mouth. So that is truly what happened. And basically I said I wanted somebody to continue on with with what I had basically had vision for Taekwondo, for building character, for working hard, for staying with the traditions, and for keeping that character building along the way. My name is Dr. Daniel Gibbs, and I was one of the original founders of the school, Authentic Taekwondo, back in 2001. I'm a dentist, and I'm a 6th degree black belt.
I think what made our relationship even more special as time went by with Dr. Gibbs was the fact that he was always available for advice. Obviously, I knew how to teach, how to run classes, how to develop somewhat, but I had never run an organization in itself, like managing instructors, managing parent expectations. I think that was one of my biggest challenges. Whenever I needed his advice, he was always available, and I'm really grateful for that. Master Tom and Master Joseph's were the pillars of Authentic Taekwondo when I first took over. One of the things that people told me when I first took over Authentic Taekwondo is that if you build a high-performance team, you will not be able to succeed in running a business. So my job was to try and prove that theory wrong. And to have Master Tom and Master Joseph running classes when I was away on trips was an integral part, because having just anybody teach classes wasn't sufficient for a lot of the parents. So having other masters come in and teach classes and having a high standard for teaching and developing students was an important part of Authentic Taekwondo.
I'm Randy Josephs, I'm a 5th-degree black belt in Taekwondo, and I have a 1st degree in IFT Taekwondo, and I have a brown belt in Shotokan Karate. I started teaching at Authentic in 2001. So as a referee, nationally, as well as US and Mexico certified, I felt it was imperative to teach both the technical skills to the students and how to be competitive. I also wanted to teach them, not only as a referee, the full rules, and also show them that after competition, there is other areas in Taekwondo you can move to. It's not just competitive. I used to compete, and then I moved to referee as my joints started to ache some more. I think Authentic, with helping for perseverance in the students and indomitable spirit, we teach it that, guys, you gotta keep pushing, but as instructors and coaches, leadership mentors, we're always there to back you up and to help you through those tough times. It's not about hammering you on it, it's there to help you and get you through it. And I think that's one of the things we've done extremely well at this club.
I started teaching at Authentic, almost 20 years ago. We joined, Master Joseph and I joined Authentic about, I think within the first year that Authentic opened. I know of clubs that don't do sparring. They just simply do patterns. I know of other clubs that they don't do patterns. They're just a sparring club. They're just seriously on competition. But we cover every aspect of traditional and authentic Taekwondo. I think there's a joy in watching our kids grow to fine young adults. And I think the martial arts helps in that process and helps to build character in our kids, and it's a joy to be a part of that process. I think that the instructor is a vital part, or how an instructor behaves is a vital part of that process. That I think as instructors we have to lead by example, and we have to show our students every bit of respect that we expect from them.
I've been a student of Taekwondo since I was a teenager, many years now. But most recently I've been a student here at Authentic Taekwondo under Master Farah, coming up on at least almost 10 years now. And what attracted me to coming to this particular club was the fact that it called itself Authentic, so that caught me. And then after meeting Master Farah and seeing that he not only calls it authentic, but he makes it authentic, and he is authentic. There wasn't very much thought left in it for me, and I signed up my son at that time, the first one. And after seeing the adult program here and meeting some of the other adults here, it was just a magnet. And next thing you know, I'm back in training, almost 20 years after I got my first black belt. Well, there's a saying, it takes a village to raise a child. And you look around the village that we have today in contemporary society, and you think about where would you trust your children to go. My children mean a lot to me, as I'm sure every child matters to their parents. So I wanted the best. So when it came to my first son, I brought him here, and I told him, try this, just try it for a month, and then we'll try something else for a month. And after the first month, my son says to me, that's it, we're good. This is where I want to be.
When I first took over Authentic Taekwondo, obviously my love was always the high performance development. I wanted to have a steady, comfortable business, but I wanted to develop the next champion, the next group of champions who are going to represent Canada at the highest levels. And so, beginning in 2010, we developed a small group of athletes who were going to local tournaments. And then by 2011, we had developed a team strong enough to represent Ontario at the Nationals. And by 2012, we had developed national champions. In 2013, taking athletes to not only Pan Am Championships, but taking athletes to Youth Olympic Game qualifiers. And those were like some of the highlights that I was really hoping to develop. And that was my goal, to develop a strong foundation for the school where we can pick out athletes and then develop them into international champions. I think what stands out to me the most is I know these kids so well. I knew them before they were champions, and then I know them, obviously, we developed into this championship school, and now I see where they are today, and that is an incredible pride for me as an individual, as a coach. You know, to have these little kids come into the school with just eyes wide open to see what they can potentially do, and then to help them realize their potential, honestly, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. I think we never really lost the concept of tradition. I think we were always traditional in making sure that we teach what is Taekwondo is meant to be. Yes, we went into the high performance route, but we never lost concept of the respect that we have for each other, respect that teammates have for each other, respect that we have for our parents and for our friends. I think those are the traditions, again, the principles of Taekwondo was always applied, whether we were in Taiwan competing at the Youth Olympic Games, or whether we were at in Markham, Pan Am Center, whatever it was, we were always applying the traditions of Taekwondo, making sure that we're a good person, making sure that we're respectful, making sure that we're trying our best. I realized that, obviously, having, let's say, 100 students, not all of them want to be athletes, not all of them want to go and compete internationally. But we can develop strong individuals who will go out and become incredible citizens and contribute to their communities. And so we always had a leadership team that we felt was giving back to the school and helping at home and helping within their community. So now the focus has changed from more of a high performance into more of a leadership type of school where we want to help develop their character building, building their confidence, building their communication skills. And I think eventually that's what Taekwondo is about.
My name is Aiden and I'm a first degree black belt.
So I'm Arianna.
My name is BENAFSH.
My name is CHRISTINA.
My name's HAJEEVAN.
I am Justin.
My name is Malavika Srijev.
Hi, my name is Marcus.
So I'm ZIDANE Qureshi. I'm a black belt, and I'm on the leadership team at Authentic Taekwondo.
So I became a junior leader when I got my black belt, and yeah, Master Farah told me that I should. I also wanted to. It was a pretty big deal, actually.
Because a lot of my friends in Taekwondo were in junior leader, I wanted to be in there, and then one day Master Farah invited me, and I said I would join. I was pretty excited when he told me I could join junior leader.
When I was a black stripe, I saw Tiana, and I was very, very I looked up to her a lot, and then now I'm finally here. I'm pretty proud.
I joined the leadership team in about 2019 and became an instructor in 2021. That's pretty good, when I got the invitation, I was like, oh, it's finally happening, My dreams are coming true. I'm here, I'm a black belt, and I'm able to help out in the classes. I think it's called leadership team because our team, we lead the future generations. We are examples where they're standing as black belts, future instructors, showing the younger students how to behave, how to become black belts, proper martial artists.
As a junior leader, I like coming to the belt test, the color belt test, and I like to mark students and see how they're doing and their progress. And as a junior leader, I like to come also to classes and help them improve and get to the next level.
The things I do as a junior leader are lead classes. I actually have private sessions with certain kids to kind of help them with their curriculum and things like that. And I build connections with kids. And I think that's just one of my favorite parts, is making kids happy and influencing people and changing their lives and helping them learn quicker. I honestly didn't want to lead at first. I was like, what am I gonna do as a leader? But when Master Farah invited me, I was shy at first and I didn't know how to speak up, but in the end, I'm very happy about it, and I think it's changed me and developed me into the person that I am today.
Well, I was always looking at the instructors like Master Farah, Master Josephs, Master BOSSHART, and I was thinking, how can I get there? How can I be like them. I was never thinking about the leadership team just on. I was just thinking about building my own skill and someday becoming like them and becoming a leader like them. So when I was in school, I was always a good student, but one thing that I struggled with was that I was quite shy. And when I joined the leadership team, it really taught me how to become more well-spoken and to feel like that now I have a voice.
Master Farah has been a really good role model to me. He's taught me how to have more courage and have more self-confidence in yourself in everything you do.
Well, Master Farah has helped me see what a good leader looks like, right? A responsible person in society, right? And a kind man. He's shown me everything you need to be a martial artist: responsibility, respectfulness, self-control, discipline, and that's helped me throughout all my life. Before Taekwondo, I wasn't the best student in school and just best person in life. But after joining Taekwondo, it really changed. I'm a whole new person.
It's definitely made me more confident whenever I'm doing anything, and it definitely makes me feel more like a leader, and I can take charge in other things such as school or life. I feel like when I first started, I was very shy, and I didn't do my patterns very well, and I wasn't an outgoing person. So after I met Master Farah, and he really made me more confident, and he made me a better person in and out of Taekwondo. So on the leadership team, we discuss with Master Farah once a week, and we think about what we can do to make the classes fun for the students, especially during the pandemic.
So the junior leadership team have been an integral part of our school, especially during the pandemic. I was teaching during the pandemic, and obviously, people don't have to go to work anymore. A lot of kids are at home all day long. So we provided classes 6 days a week. And so for me to be teaching 3-4 classes every day, 6 days a week, I think I would have been burnt out completely by the first month of the pandemic. But the reason I've been able to last throughout this pandemic has been because of the leadership team. The leadership team have played an important role because not only are they running classes, but they're actually giving ideas on how to make the classes more enjoyable. So, it's like I trust them with an opportunity, and they're stepping above and beyond my expectations. I feel like we have great leadership team and a great mentorship team that these kids are really continuing the traditions of authentic Taekwondo.
AKMALS' ability to build champions and leaders, I think, comes from his ability to, of course, allow them to see the strength and value that they have in themselves, but that sort of comes through the training. And so it's important that they're training hard and that they're pushing themselves, but so much of it, the framework around that is important, and that's what he provides, that ability to, through practice, allow them to see their own strengths and value, and that they can accomplish really great things.
I think why AKMAL was able to build these other leaders, these other kids who are now, masters in their masters or building their own very successful careers, is that he didn't only focus on the sport. He was able to take the values that the sport gives into your personal life, whether that's relationships or business or school. And he actively had stories and told people, you should focus on your school. You should think about the next steps. It doesn't mean you can't practice hard. You can still practice hard, still come 6 days a week, 5 days a week, but don't forget that there's other parts of your life that you can also focus on. So he was able to really have that, maintain that balance of thinking about your professional life post-Taekwondo while still being a high-performance athlete. That's a hard thing to do as well.
I am really proud of the people that we've developed here so far. They've become incredible entrepreneurs, incredible academics, incredible citizens of their community that I'm really, really proud of, that I can say, those are my students. I have the best students in the world.
So I was born with multiple heart defects. I did have many surgeries and stuff like that. And generally the sentiment when I would see my cardiologist every couple months was, I want you to exercise, I want you to eat healthy. I know you won't be able to keep up with the other kids, but I want you to try your best, you know? So I came here, my dad brought me when I was 7. So I started when I was 7, and by the time I was like 14, I went back. We did like the normal exercise test, ECG, whatever, and they were literally shocked. Like, how did you do so well? Exercise test, I like didn't need to stop. They were shocked, you know? So a couple years later, the opportunity came for me to speak for the Fetal Echocardiology Center for Sick Kids. So they invited me to their gala to give a speech for 2 years consecutively. And yeah, I went up there, I told my story, I talked about Authentic and how it sort of like helped me maneuver this kind of like different challenge that I was facing as opposed to other kids. And yeah, it was a really fulfilling experience. It was nerve-wracking, it was scary, but I think it was really, I think it really helped me in terms of development. I think that at that point in my life, Master Farah was definitely one of my biggest supporters. Like, he showed up and showed out. So I think that definitely he was like my backbone, so it was Authentic during that time, and he was a big support for me, you know? It was kind of scary. I was maybe in grade 7, so that's like, I was 12 or something. Yeah, so yeah, I definitely don't think I would have been able to do it without him, or without the club, or without everything that I've learned here, to be honest.
I'm Gianluca Battisti. I'm a 3rd degree black belt, and I've competed internationally for Authentic Taekwondo, and I've achieved silver medal at the US Open. Master Farah has taught me many life lessons that have contributed to who I am as a person, and as well as to my academic career. One of them was to always believe in yourself, because if you don't, it doesn't matter how well you followed your training schedule, how hard you trained, which also is another life lesson, you know, to give it your all when you do something. This way you know that you've left nothing behind and that there is no more that you can do, and none of that matters if you don't believe in yourself and the ability to achieve your goal. And that's one of the many life lessons that Master Farah has taught with me and has stuck with me.
I've been doing Taekwondo for like 16 years now. I've been competing internationally for about 6 or 7 years, and now I am a student in physiotherapy in Glasgow. Obviously, when you're traveling a lot, you don't have a lot of time to study, so it really taught me to like minimize my study time, but also be able to perform well in both academics and in Taekwondo as well. It also helped me to really develop some good relationships and learn how to communicate with other people from other cultures. And I think it really did prepare me for my life as a physio student now. Master Farah really taught us how to be like not only good Taekwondo fighters, but also good people. He really instilled really good morals on us. And he always taught us like really good life lessons, whether it was in Taekwondo or whether we were going out for restaurants after our fights. He really was such a great coach and a great person to be around, and it really taught us all, I think, to just be better versions of ourselves.
I am Sean Davies. I am a former student and black belt of Authentic Taekwondo. I am now in the Canadian Armed Forces. Master Farah taught me a lot of skills that helped me outside of the ring and in Taekwondo, and just helped me with life in general. Taught me a lot of discipline, which helped me greatly when I entered into the military, and helped me a lot through basic training, because I found the mental space was similar between the two, training in Taekwondo and training in the military.
Hey, this is Dylan Nadler. I'm a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo under Master Farah. I'm a 2-time national team member, as well as back-to-back US Open champion, and now the founder of Mind Lock Mental Training. Ultimately, I think the biggest lesson I learned from Master Farah is that, you know, you control your toughness. There's a lot of things we can't control, but you do control your toughness, and whether that's physical or mental or everything in between, that's really the variable that matters most. So, you know, I've used that and I've carried it over into a company that I created called Mind Lock Mental Training, where now I work with professional athletes all around the world and teach them the importance of the mental game. And that's something that I never would have come into on my own without the guidance of Master Farah taking me there and saying, hey, listen, you don't always have to be the tallest, strongest, fastest person out there, but you have to be the toughest, and that's what gets the job done. And I think that's one of the most valuable lessons that I've ever learned from him.
I hope that, you know, 20 years from now, people realize that I really loved making a difference in people's lives. I hope people realize I care about their development deeply, and I care about Taekwondo to make sure that the traditions are followed properly and that people use Taekwondo in the right way to make their lives better.